Today, we will embark on a journey into the world of rivers to explore and uncover the amazing and mysterious secrets they hold. If you thought that the strangest and most mysterious things inhabit only the depths of the oceans, you were greatly mistaken. Rivers, with their flowing currents and enigmatic underwater worlds, conceal equally captivating discoveries. With you is TopFactsBLACK, and these are astonishing river finds that are hard to believe. Enjoy watching, and of course, let's go. During the excavation of sand quarries near the dried-up banks of the Nile River, archaeologists discovered astonishing remains of ancient reptiles. Among them were 5 heads and 5 completely undamaged bodies. This discovery shocked the team of archaeologists. They also made another exciting discovery a few years ago in Australia. Fossilized remains of an ancient crocodile named Confractosuchus soroctanos were found there. This crocodile is considered a broken dinosaur killer and lived on our planet for about 95 million years. These findings raise questions about the origin and evolution of crocodile species. No one is certain about the identification of a strange creature known as the tiny humanoid alien found in a famous location near the Utah River, Area 51. However, a woman who spent the day in that area hoping to find something unusual was stunned when she saw a creature hanging on a rock. It looked like a tiny human, but its eerie features included a striped body. The woman uploaded a video to the internet, sparking online debates about what it could be. Some called it a mannequin, but many claimed it was a real extraterrestrial being that she had captured. Several years ago in Vietnam, a young man discovered an interesting object on the riverbank. He decided to investigate this object, which resembled the skeleton of an unknown creature. It had a shapeless head attached to a twisted body and long, slender legs. This structure was so mysterious that it did not resemble any known animals. The mystery remained unsolved until the object was brought to experts for analysis. By that time, the young man had already disappeared. It turned out that this unknown skeleton was actually part of an old tree trunk that had bent in a peculiar way and took on the form of a fantastical creature. In different parts of the world, most rivers dry up, and when the water disappears, it reveals shocking revelations from the past. Several years ago in Texas, when one of the rivers dried up, a huge triangular-shaped footprint was discovered, presumably left by an Antranovian cantosaur, a massive prehistoric lizard with high spikes weighing about 6,350 kilograms. This location in the past was part of a seashore where this dinosaur lived approximately 113 million years ago. Now, its footprint allows us to see a rare Buddhist statue that can be seen only once in a lifetime. But not only ancient traces and bones, but droughts have also brought us some of the most amazing structures in our history. In China, due to increasing heat and a sharp drop in the water level of the Yangtze River, 3 Buddhist statues emerged after 600 years. They were discovered on the highest part of an island in the southwestern part of the country and are believed to have been built during the Ming and Qing dynasties. One of the statues depicts a monk sitting on a lotus pedestal. Thus, we gain a unique insight into historical evidence of ancient wisdom and tradition. Several years ago, near a river in the Dominican Republic in the Caribbean region, a huge fish was found, which could be called a true fish monster. Its size was so gigantic that it took a group of more than 5 people to lift it. This incredibly large specimen of fish, known as the Goliath grouper, was accidentally caught in a fishing net and discovered dead. Considering the uniqueness of such a catch, it was decided to send it for further examination to the Center for a Deep Analysis of the Cause of the Fish's Death. In Mexico, a fisherman discovered an extremely strange creature, a cyclops fish. However, this was no ordinary cyclops, it was an albino. This fish was white in color and had a menacing single eye. It was hard for the fisherman to believe his eyes when he saw this unusual creature. The cyclops fish was found inside its mother's stomach along with its other siblings. It was the only creature with a functioning eye at the front of its head. This rare albino cyclops fish was considered a unique discovery of its kind. Unfortunately, it couldn't survive for long and soon passed away. A Japanese fisherman discovered a very rare shark tangled in his fishing line. He brought it onto his boat and realized that it was a living specimen of a prehistoric frilled shark, which was thought to be extinct. This species is known to inhabit depths of over 600 meters and typically reaches a length of about 2 meters. For marine biologists, this was a remarkable find. However, despite its scientific interest, the shark had little commercial value for fishermen. The shark, resembling an eel-like creature, was in very poor physical condition and was found in shallow waters off the coast of Japan near the city of Shizuoka. Unfortunately, it died just a few hours after being caught. Nature astonished people when a massive school of fish appeared in an uninhabited area. Many considered it a bad omen and feared that a catastrophe was imminent. Biologists conducted research and found that this occurred due to a change in the river's current, which usually flowed in a different direction. Likely, human intervention altered the water's course, leading the fish to an unusual location. However, thanks to prompt action, the fish were quickly rescued and returned to the river. A young man searching for his lost pet stumbled upon this mysterious creature lying on the muddy ground. From the outset, he was perplexed but soon decided to examine it more closely using a tree branch. It had a strange body covered in pinkish skin, slippery and rigid. Its unique features didn't resemble any other creatures, and it seemed like the result of a failed scientific experiment. Although it was speculated to be the decaying body of some amphibian, no one was confident enough to make definitive conclusions about the origin of this strange creature. A few years ago, a couple of fishermen noticed an unusual creature in the river that could have been a freshwater inhabitant or even a mermaid. During their fishing trip, they saw a huge tail emerging from the water at some distance from their boat. Initially, they thought it might be a dolphin, but such mammals rarely inhabit such rivers, and the split tail pointed to something more mythical and aquatic. Another possibility was a seal hunting for fish, but since they only saw the tail briefly, they were convinced it was a glimpse of a mermaid hiding in the depths of the river. It was an unforgettable moment for the fishermen, and though they couldn't fully see the mermaid, they were impressed by its presence in the river. Recently, in the United Kingdom, a strange creature was discovered on the riverbank. It looked like a dead alien child or some new species emerging from the water. It had a slimy body and a fish-like structure. The size of this mysterious creature was less than a meter. Since no one could identify the exact species of the creature, authorities were called to the scene. They took it into custody and promised to gather more information. However, even after a year, there were no concrete conclusions, which only heightened suspicions that it was truly something horrifying and mysterious. On the Missouri River, a fisherman from Elkhorn experienced one of the most astonishing moments of his life while fishing. After an unsuccessful cast, his bait got stuck on a rock, and he decided to free it by kayaking to the point where it was stuck. At that moment, he noticed bones, which he initially thought were the remains of a deer or catfish. He took a photograph and returned to fishing. However, when he shared his photos online, it turned out that these bones were actually the fossilized remains of a prehistoric fish known as a bulldog. This fish was about 6 meters long and existed around 90 million years ago during the early Cretaceous period. Recently, some local residents discovered fossils that suggest that unicorns, long considered mythical creatures, might have actually existed in the real world. This opens up new possibilities and raises questions about what we know about past life forms. An engineer in Egypt who worked on the pyramids found a skull that he believed belonged to a unicorn. However, scientists are still not entirely sure about the reality of these creatures. The skull resembled a horse with a large horn above its eyes, but in some aspects, it also resembled rhinoceroses. During a walk along the riverbank, in addition to fertile soil, you can sometimes come across remnants that allow you to glimpse into the past. One researcher, while exploring the muddy riverbank in Siberia, discovered a mammoth tusk, approximately 3 meters in length. It is believed that this tusk belonged to an ancient giant elephant that lived around 4 to 5 million years ago. This discovery was just the beginning. As further ahead, the researcher found the huge skeleton of a mammoth of the same species. Now, the tusk, skull, and other prehistoric remains are on display in a museum. Regardless of size, the discovery of fossils is always a significant find, especially when they are associated with the Miocene epoch, which is one of the earliest geological epochs. The Miocene epoch stretched millions of years ago, and it's from this time that people often find shark teeth and fossils belonging to various shark species. However, scientists claim that alongside sharks, the Miocene epoch was also rich in other incredible fish, reptiles, and wild animals. In this case, the researcher discovered a massive piece of fossil that definitely did not belong to a shark. Therefore, he decided to send it to a research laboratory to learn more about this fascinating epoch. This fish has an amazing ability to survive in different conditions, even in strong currents or without water at all. It usually inhabits the waters of Africa, but when a drought occurs, it transforms into a mammal and begins to breathe air. That's why it's called the dual-breathing fish. Like most other fish, it has gills that help it extract oxygen from the water. However, it also has lungs. But since breathing is not the only way to survive in a dry environment, it has another interesting feature: a layer of mucus that surrounds its body. This mucus layer serves as the main source of food during a drought, as it contains essential nutrients. Thanks to this, these fish can survive for up to a year until the rains return and they can go back into the water. Hunger stones were placed by the German governments in the 1600s during severe droughts. They served as a means of communication between starving people searching for food and the government. These stones were placed in different locations and had sharp words carved or inscribed on them, indicating hunger and suffering that people were experiencing. Hunger stones were not only created by the government. Ordinary people also left messages on them to warn future generations about the impending disaster. They were thrown into the deep river and would only appear when the river dried up enough to be seen. So, friends, these were incredible river discoveries that are hard to believe. If you enjoyed this episode and want to see something similar, then leave comments, give likes, subscribe to the Top Facts channel, and right now, watch one of the previous episodes that appeared on your screen.